Welcome to the first official episode of the Pelicans Sports Corner. Today we got a great episode for you. Today we're going to be talking about Joe Dumars and the direction he want to go with the Pelicans players. We're going to be talking about potential trade targets. We're going to be talking about draftees that the Pelicans could potentially draft this upcoming NBA draft with the 7th overall pick. We got a lot more of that on this Pelicans Sports Corner. Welcome, Pelicans fans. We are officially here. It's the first episode of the Pelicans Sports Corner. And man, I've been waiting for this. It's been a long time coming, but let's just dive right in. We got Joe Dumars hired to oversee basketball operations of the NBA New Orleans Pelicans, the New Orleans Pelicans. And a lot of people was down on this hire because of Joe Dumars' track record with Detroit. They said he was stubborn. They said he made bad decisions. But let's be honest. I seen the draft picks of Joe Dumars, and it wasn't impressive. He did draft Greg Monroe, but a lot of those names didn't stick. I'm not going to lie. It was very scary looking at it. Of all the picks that he had and the names that he turned in on those cards, I'm not going to lie, it was cause to pause. But he's been away for 10 years. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. We don't know what strategies he learned. We don't know what things he picked up from all 30 NBA teams. He talked about that in his presser, how he got to see the inside of all 30 teams on a day-to-day basis. And I think that will help him. He's also talked about how the game has grown, how the spacing is different, which is all key things because that means that he's not going to be the type of guy to be stubborn and want to build it the way he want to builds it the way he wants to, like it's the old Detroit Pistons, things like that in the 2000s, but early 2000s. And that's good for us. That's good for us because just maybe they have found a great executive in Joe Dumars. He is a champion, both player and executive, so that helps. I feel as though we're being too hard on him, and he really knows basketball. Obviously, he said he's not going to waver from the defensive game plan and the defensive scheme that they want to run when it comes to being ferocious, tough on defense. He said that's basically all he knows, and that's a good thing too, because the Pelicans do need defense. They got a few cornerstone pieces like Herb Jones, Jose Alvarado, guys who could get up in your face, who could make it tough for you, things like that. Yves Mises is coming along, the rookie that they had. So those things do make sense when it comes to building a team. They have some foundational pieces with Trey Murphy, Zion Williamson, Jordan Hawkins, and things like that. And I think that's going to bode well for this team going forward. Also, they got the 7th pick in the draft. I wish it was top 3. I'm a big Ace Bailey guy. I thought he would have been key for us just in case Zion went down, but that didn't happen. But it's okay. 7th pick is not bad. And, later on the show, I'm going to give you some potential targets that will help us immediately. I'm hoping that they get more draft picks, like 15, 20-ish, because I think pairing 2 guys that I have that is high on my list would fit seamlessly in the rotation, and I think will really help the Pelicans go far next season. Obviously, health is a major factor, but that's things you guys already know. Another thing Joe Dumars touched on was his ability to communicate. He's going to find out the problems that's going on within the organization. Listening to people was very important to him, and that is a good character trait because you got to get different opinions and find out what actually went on. You got to hold people accountable. Also, you got to build it the right way, and he talked about those things. The standard is the standard, which is true for anybody who want to be excellent in anything. He mentioned that. And I think although he's a Louisiana native, he understands the city of New Orleans. He understands how important it is to build a winner. He knows the fans are starving for a winner. And I think we got to wait and see before we rush to judgment on Joe Dumars. I really think he have a lot of basketball knowledge that he can not only share with guys like Zion Williamson, Trey Murphy, along with CJ McCollum and things like that, that will help not only this locker room, but that also help Willie Green. He said he has been knowing Willie Green for a long time, and that makes sense. So he's not walking into a place where he don't know the players. He said he's spent time with Zion. He talked to Zion. That's also going to help. So not to spend time on this topic too long, let's just give the guy a chance. Let's see if there's changes. Let's see what type of changes he makes. Let's not rush to judgment. I know we wanted some other guys, and there's some guys that's doing cool things around the league, but he's been around this organization. They obviously felt comfortable with him. I think that's very important. So let's just step back for a minute. Let him assess things. Let him do his thing. That's what I would say. But after we come back, we're going to talk about key tradable pieces and key trade targets that we could potentially sign as far as superstars that might be willing to come to the Pelicans. I know it's highly unlikely, but we got to get another star alongside Zion, or try to get another star alongside Zion. And I think these names that I give you may surprise you. It may not surprise you, but I think these can be some realistic trade targets if we package the right amount of picks and players to get these type of guys. And we'll have more of that on the Pelicans Sports Corner. Welcome back to the Pelicans Sports Corner. Let's talk about a few trade targets that the Pelicans could potentially go after. Not sure how realistic this is, just based off where they're picking, some of the assets that they have, the guys they have to move to get these pieces. Not 100% sure that these guys would even want to come to the Pelicans based on their track record, their history of losing and things like that. But we just going to throw some names out there that the Pelicans could potentially be interested in. I know you guys really think Giannis is a possibility. We're not going to discuss Giannis because Giannis, I think it's a 0% chance that the Pelicans can sway Giannis to come to New Orleans. So I'm not even going to discuss him. Let's talk about Kevin Durant. Now, I don't know if Kevin Durant will want to come to the Pelicans. I know that's probably like a 6% chance. But based on all the stops Kevin Durant had, I'm sure he can be a mentor to Zion. He did average 26, 26 6'4", 6'4" on 52% shooting. That's still not bad at his age. The Pelicans definitely can use a guy who could get that type of production like Brandon Ingram had. Not that Brandon Ingram averaged that, but he'll be a better version of Brandon Ingram. He's also a champion. That pedigree would do well in the Pelicans locker room. Somebody Zion Williams can lean on. I think that's important. I think also his leadership as to being in the league a long time and seeing a lot of things and being on different teams and why those teams didn't work, and being on a super team, quote unquote, and how he became one of the leaders and things like that, and why things didn't work on those Warriors teams and things like that. I think that's important when it comes to a veteran like Kevin Durant, and I think he can do wonders for this locker room. Pieces you're going to have to trade, obviously, like CJ McCollum, potentially Kelly Olynyk, guys like that. You got to make the contracts work, obviously, but I think Kevin Durant will be a really nice piece for the New Orleans Pelicans if they can land him. I doubt if that happened, but I think he could be a really nice piece. Another guy, his teammate, Devin Booker. I think that's another potential trade piece that the Pelican can acquire. Devin Booker is different only because he is a guy that you may can sway based on him being a homer, based on him growing up close to the area, based on him having a lot of family, based on him being like a thorn in the Pelicans' side. You never know. He might want to play with Jose Alvarado after playing him. He might want to play for a coach like Willie Green. You know what I'm saying? After Willie Green was an assistant with Monty Williams and things like that. So he's familiar with the coach. So I know he'll be comfortable with Willie Green. Will he come? I'll put that like a 15% chance. I'm not sure if the Pelicans can swing a blockbuster deal for somebody like Devin Booker. That will be fantastic. That will do wonders for not only the city, the basketball team, things like that, to have a person that's local who was groomed, in the air around the area, things like that. That'll be amazing for the Pelicans and their fan base. You have something to build off. He's not super early. He's still young. You can still see he is in his prime. Him and Zion will be box office immediately. That will completely sell out the Smoothie King Center. I promise you. So Devin Booker is another name to look out for. Another name that could potentially be a trade target for the Pelicans is Lauri Markkanen. This one honestly doesn't sway me either way. I think he'll be a nice trade piece if you needed insurance just in case Zion went down for another season, or he had to miss time, or you got into the playoffs, snuck in the back end, in the play-in or something like that, and you needed to replace those Zion minutes. Is he a generational talent that you can build a foundation on? I wouldn't say that. Can you have a superstar like a Kobe Bryant level player that you can sway and it will elevate his game like a Paul Gasol? I could see that, but the Pelicans don't have that type of player yet. And Zion potentially could have been that type of player. The problem with Zion is he is always hurt, so that doesn't help the situation. This one probably cost the least. I don't think the Pelicans can afford to give up a lot for Lauri Markkanen, but Utah needs assets. You never know. You never know what the Pelicans are thinking. You never know. Is he a defensive juggernaut? No, that probably don't fit. So, but a 7-footer next to a 7-footer in Eve Misi blocking shots, I like it. Zion moved to shooting forward. I can see the potential, but I don't think it's likely. But I think the Pelicans need something. They need something else. I don't know what that something is per se. Um, but it has to be a player that not only impacts the team on the court, but also impacts the team in ticket sales. Because I'm not sure if ticket sales is going to be high based on the team that they're rolling out right now. I just don't see it. The next player is obviously the fan favorite. Everybody want this player to be on the Pelicans team, and that's all you keep seeing on social media based on the relationship these two guys have, and that's Ja Morant. Is Memphis gonna deal Ja Morant? They'll be out of their mind. But after seeing Luka get traded to the Lakers, I don't know if that was a political move. I don't know if that was the Adam Silver move. I don't know what that was, but you might could get Ja Morant. His days in Memphis might be numbered. You never know. Maybe they trying to rebuild. Maybe they tired of Ja. Maybe Ja tired of them. We don't know. That's all speculation. I'm just saying. It'll be nice for the Pelicans to try to acquire one of these guys so that they can be on the same type of timeline as Zion. I think that'll do wonders, like I said, not only for the city, not only for the team, and the growth of guys like Jordan Hawkins, Trey Murphy, and Zion Williams. I think the Pelicans need someone else, obviously. But how do they get it done is the question everybody's trying to figure out. How do they get it done? How do they pull off a trade? How do they sway a superstar player to believe in the New Orleans Pelicans and the timeline that they own just based on Zion Williams' health? That's a big question. And I think that's going to be the main issue when it comes to getting a player to come or trying to sway a player to come. I mean, it's not the NFL. The NBA, you really have to sway these players because they see what goes around the league. They know, they talk to people, they text people. I mean, it's not like the NFL. There's no way around it. But yeah, I think Ja Morant will fit in nicely with Zion. They could go back to the AAU days and, ball out. The city will be turned. We know Ja like Louisiana. We seen him at LSU games with Angel Reese. So I think that will be box office. The problem is, how the hell do you get him to New Orleans? And I think that's the most important thing. But we'll have more on the Pelicans Sports Corners after this. Talk about potential draftees that can make the Pelicans immediately better when it comes to next year's NBA season. The first guy I want to talk about is South Carolina's Colin Murray Boyles. This guy has a physical downhill game that's not LeBron-like, but it's very physical. It's like Julius Randle almost, where he can drive the lane at 6'7" as a power forward, small forward, whatever you want to call him. He's a little bit versatile. He could probably play both. And it's almost like watching a shooting guard or a point guard constantly attacking the rim. This particular player is a nice fit for the Pelicans because Zion does that same thing, and it opens up the floor for spacing when it comes to three-point shooting, moving the ball around and things like that. I think Colin Murray Boyles will be a nice addition to the Pelicans. Also, Kyle Knuppel from Duke. He is also another player I think the Pelicans can be interested in. He's not one of my favorite. I know he's like a fan favorite right now. He's not one of my favorite, not because he's not like the other guys, but most importantly because we have that type of shooters. You know what I'm saying? He's a clean pick. It's not that. I think he's more like needs to go to a team that needs shooting. Not that we have the best shooting. It's just the fact that, I mean, him and Trey Murphy on the floor together would be good, but defensively, I don't know. I don't know. See how that works. We already have defensive issues, you know. So I think that's. I think you're pulling straws with that. It can work on the offensive, but I seen what Willie Green did with Jordan Hawkins when he was putting up numbers, and I think Kyle can put up those type of numbers that Jordan Hawkins was putting up when he played Denver and all these teams, and then Willie just put them because his defensive problems. He wasn't good on the defensive end. They was attacking him on the defensive end. I just don't think that Kyle will be in a rotation early just based off of that. That's just my opinion. Shooting wise, of course, obviously that makes sense, but it's the Willie Green factor. I wish Willie would lean more into the offense. I wish the scheme would be better. We need all of those things, but he's kind of on the hot seat because of it, you know? And sometimes your offense have to be your defense. I hate to say it. Sometimes your offense has to be your defense. You're not going to be the best defensive team all the time. I know that you want that to be your identity, but it doesn't always work. This is all the best players in the world. Sometimes your defense is going to break down. Sometimes you got to lean into offense. That would be my opinion when it comes to the Pelicans. And I hope Willie Green leans more into the offense. Yes, your foundation has to be on defense, rebounding, getting stops, things like that. But you have to understand nobody's going to win the game 0-0. And I'm sure he understands that. So lean into the offense a little bit more. You know, I would like to see him get more creative on offense too. Another guy who is probably my favorite guy for the Pelicans, and I don't see a lot of people talking about him, is Arizona's Carter Bryant. This guy, man, listen to me. He's young. He's young right now. But his athletic ability, his tenacity on defense, his toughness, his will to want to be great. This kid, man, he's infectious. And the Smoothie King Center with Herb Jones, DeJounte Murray, Eve Missy on the court. If Willie wants to play defense, Carter Bryant is his guy, and his upside is crazy. Like, offensively, this guy, he's only going to get better. He's only 19 years old. Listen to what I'm telling you. This guy, to me, might be one of the steals of the draft. I'm telling you, when it's all said and done, he might be a guy that should have been drafted in like the top 4, opposed to a guy that might get drafted in top 10, 12 range. Carter Bryant, remember that name. I'm telling you, this guy, when he puts it together, he gonna be one of them ones. I'm telling you, he gonna be one of them ones. And I think he'll be a great fit for Willie. Man, dreaming about the things him and Herb Jones can do on defense to other teams. When you know teams got 2 and 3 great players, man, listen. I understand the West is tough, and you have to defend. But him and Trey and DeJounte, when DeJounte get healthy, if the Pelicans still keep DeJounte, them boys going to be putting people in headlocks fast and in a hurry. So shout out to Carter Bryant. Hopefully he's a Pelican. Hopefully we get to see him on a Pelicans floor. I'm telling you, I don't understand why he's not rated higher. I know he has limited minutes, limited production, but the things I'm seeing, I don't understand why people don't see it. But this guy, I'm telling you, he's going to be one of them ones for a long time in the NBA, barring any health issues. Another guy, my last guy, and Walter Clayton Jr. from Florida. Now, I know I just said we don't need another guy like that in Kine, but Kine doesn't play point guard / shooting guard. Which I think getting Walter Clayton, he will play point guard primarily. I think Walter Clayton Jr. with Trey Murphy on the floor Also, guys like Kelly Olynyk, if they keep Kelly Olynyk, Jordan Hawkins, them guys letting it fly, running pick and roll for Walter Clayton, his quick release. And then you trying to double him and he's kicking it out to Trey Murphy. And you think you got Trey Murphy too and he's kicking out to Hawk. And you think you got Hawk too and he's kicking it out to Olynyk. Night. Night fast. Night early. Those guys going to shoot the rock. That's one of the reasons why I don't want the Pelicans to entertain any offers for Jordan Hawkins. I know Hawk kind of seemed like a potential trade talk and where he's going to fit. I think the offensive scheme has limited Jordan Hawkins more than Jordan Hawkins has limited himself. I think we need to put that out there and make sure that's on the forefront. Jordan Hawkins is a special player in a special system. I'm not saying he's a system player, but during his rookie year, I really think Willie Green should have leaned in on what he does best, and he didn't do it. He set him, and it hasn't really been the same. He showed glimpses of moment, but he was really catching on during his rookie year. Guy was some months on top 2, top 3 on the Rookie of the Year ladder. And I think they kind of stunted his growth a little bit just by benching him and taking away his confidence. And he was one of the best people on the team at that moment. I wish Willie Green would have leaned into his talents more often. But we can't focus on the past. Let's just talk about today. Please don't trade Jordan Hawkins. The things you can do with him, and if you could get 2 top 15, 20 picks, Carter Bryant at 7, and then Walter Clayton Jr., I'm telling you, these guys with Trey Murphy and Herb Jones and DeJounte, they going to be a problem. I'm telling you they're going to be a problem. Now, I don't know how the roster going to shape up. I don't know if they're going to keep C.J. McCollum. He's likely a trade piece. So is Kelly Olynyk. But as far as draftees, I think for me, that's probably the best draft picks. Derek Queen will also be one just to have some Zion insurance. A lot like the Laurie marketing thing I talked about. But Derek Queen, he can shoot the 3, which is important as people saying he's gonna be a center. I don't see it. I read him and I know he's like he's not as defensively gifted as somebody like Draymond, but I think he could get some buckets, at the power forward position. Like I said, I'm all for moving Zion to that, away from banging with the big guys. I know he got the hops, but let's try to limit his ability to get injured as much as possible. I think he really needs to shed a few more pounds, play that shooting forward. There's no shooting forward that's stopping him. There's no shooting forward that's guarding him. So that bodes well for the Pelicans. And I think if we just we just need like 1 or 2 pieces. We're not that far off. We just need like 1 or 2 pieces, potential superstar, and like 2 more pieces. And I think the Pelicans will be back on the map. They're not that far off. They have the talent. They have all the ingredients for the gumbo. They just got to find somebody to make the roux from scratch, build it back from scratch, then add all the ingredients and stir it up so it can mesh well. I'm telling you, they're right there. And I think starting with guys like that and the potential trade targets that I talked about earlier will be really good for the Pelicans. But yeah, so I just want to say this. If Willie Green gets it together, the Pelicans gonna be all right. He just need to find that offensive mojo. I know he's gonna hang his hat on defense. Of course, you should as a defensive coach. You gotta find that offensive rotation though to stir it. You have to. You gotta find that actual point guard. You gotta find that actual 2 guard who could play. You gotta potentially move Zion. You gotta find that 5 and 4. Who is it? Is it gonna be Eve Missy? Eve Missy? Is it gonna be Kelly Olynyk? Is it gonna be somebody else we're not talking about? I don't know. But we need to find the ingredients that stirs the pot. And that'll be all for today. I appreciate y'all rocking with me on the first episode of the Pelicans Sports Corner. We'll have more news. We'll have more information. Don't forget to follow. Don't forget to subscribe to the new channel. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at the Pelicans Sports Corner. And yeah, I see you guys, man. I appreciate y'all rocking with me.